I want to send a very special thank you to Rycon Games for sponsoring today's video. In the year of 2025, there is no denying the abundance of quality first-person shooter games. We've got plenty of arena shooters, hero shooters, tactical shooters, and of course, battle royale shooters. However, one genre I think is often neglected is the adrenaline-fueled, free-flowing FPS styles seen in games like Doom and Titanfall. Thankfully, the team over at Rycon Games also sensed the need for more games in this genre and have therefore created Metal Eden. This is a brand new game set in a demo stage and is a sci-fi FPS that explores a world where humanity's consciousness has transcended the flesh, now residing within robots. The game thrills players into an artificial world where you'll dive into cybernetic warfare, control a powerful hyper unit, and uncover the mysteries of a lost paradise. Metal Eden really feels like a mixture of an array of great games, with graphics reminiscent of the newer Halo games, flowing gameplay that finds its roots within games like Doom, and a dark, complex story with a similar eeriness to moments within both Destiny and Marathon. The first thing players will notice is how truly incredible the graphics are, both within the cutscenes and the actual gameplay itself. The art direction is a really great depiction of a futuristic sci-fi world, and a first glance into some of the art could almost be mistaken for Bungie's upcoming new release, Marathon, and that is a huge compliment. It's not just me who thought this either, with an entire thread on Reddit making similar comparisons, which should not be an issue for Rycon Games, as they are no strangers to great sci-fi worlds, with Ruiner being one of their other games set in a cyberpunky setting. Despite this, however, you'll quickly realize that Metal Eden's world is a lot darker, creepier, and brutal. One of the cutscenes we see in the demo is the perfect but somewhat unsettling example of this, showing a deceased hyper unit in a rather unnerving way. Thankfully, however, Rycon has balanced the game to make it not feel like a horror game or anything of the sort. The majority of the gameplay and cutscenes fit more in line with a bright, sometimes neon sci-fi world that pairs perfectly with the fast-moving gameplay that is for now all set during the daytime, and there's not a lot of environment covered in corpses. It's like if a street sweeper came through and cleaned all of those corpses up, or as you will find out, maybe it was our own superiors. That is not meant to be a spoiler, and it's within the first mission, but I won't lie, I am perplexed by what complexities there can be here as the story runs deeper. Traveling through the levels is a really pleasant experience, and I'm pleased that Rycon haven't made the mistake that some developers often do, as the high quality realistic graphics don't mess with the game's clarity. Everything is pretty easy and clear to make out, which is especially important in a game as adrenaline-fueled as this, and is dictated by the environments you are in. The hyper unit we play with in-game comes equipped with a whole host of abilities that aid the free-flowing gameplay. Powered by a phantom core, the player can dash, grapple, float, and wall run through the levels, with combat taking place at all elevations, from sky to floor. You can also turn into an armored ram ball and charge into action like some sort of juiced-up hamster. Thankfully, however, the abilities you start with do evolve throughout playtime, with an upgrade tree system that allows players to develop the abilities they really want as they progress through the game. In my short demo playtime, I wasn't able to fully upgrade my hyper unit, but I was able to view all of the upgrade trees, and some of the abilities sounded incredibly intriguing and helpful, and I hope Rycon continues to add more and develop existing ones even further. While I never personally struggled on these fights, I did find myself almost dying from getting hit once or twice, and I played on hard mode, so just one step down from the hardest difficulty, but it was like playing on ice to avoid getting hit. The upgrades and progression don't stop with your hyper unit though, with the weapons you find also having their own, albeit smaller, upgrade trees, and some certainly perform better than others. Personally, I didn't love the assault rifle as I felt like I had to stay on my target too long before it died, which sort of went against the free-flowing feel, but I get that it has infinite ammo and is meant to be swapped to and from constantly. The shotgun, however, was a completely different story. This thing felt incredible, and with the array of movement abilities available in my hyper unit's arsenal, it was really easy to close the gap to the enemies, blast them down quickly, then move to the next target. My shaky and terrible aim couldn't really keep up with my own crazy movements, so as you'll see in my gameplay, there might be some janky and flicky misses, but that's just on me trying to go for style points instead of just accepting that I'm not Shroud. But Shroud also isn't Asuka, and he doesn't have the ability to purchase an upgrade to slow time down, to an almost stop like I did. I spent all of my in-game currency on different weapon upgrades in each demo, and found the shotgun and the laser pistol to be the most worth my time. I'd have loved to upgrade my shotgun even further, but that's something I'll just have to wait to do in the full release of the game. I absolutely loved my time here messing with these upgrades, and I can't wait for more weapons, like the chain gun. That thing ripped too. Aside from the compliments and my love for wall running, fast movement, and gunplay, my favorite part of the entire demo had nothing to do with the movement, abilities, graphics, or gameplay features at all. My favorite part instead was the atmosphere and the feel that the game created through its audio and dialogue. The voice that speaks to you almost entirely through the demo is mysterious and creepy in an incredibly engaging way.
Never a pleasant look, is it? A constant reminder of what we need to endure.
Establishing connection. Core Ripper active. Hyper unit is mission go.
Well done, Aska. Now you're complete.
Warning. ISC units inbound.
Bring these clowns to the ground. Unleash your hyperpower. Rip their cores out. You know you want to.
It's unsettling to listen to, but you can't help but just listen even if it feels like you're almost being brainwashed at times. At first, it's easy to be unsure whether the voice is a friend or foe, and Rykon deserves a lot of credit for how they've created a character that has such an effect on the player. I'm not gonna go overboard early and say this character is on the same level as Warframe's Wally or Doom's narrator or Bioshock's Would You Kindly Atlas, but the creepy reverb voice that unsettles you and makes you question things throughout Metal Eden does provide a similar feeling to those previously mentioned characters. I truly mean everything I've said so far, and even without the support of Rykon Games to produce this video, Metal Eden is a game that I would enjoy playing a lot by myself, and I really look forward to the release of. But that being said, I do think it's important I include my more critical points about the game. After all, a demo is all about providing useful feedback. As content creation and gaming is my full-time job, I'm very lucky to have a high-end PC, and therefore the game ran flawlessly for me at max settings, 1440p, with all the bells and whistles and no features to artificially boost frames. While I can't really complain too much about the optimization of the game, in a game that needs a free-flowing visual experience, the inability to turn off or disable both mouse acceleration and motion blur currently is something that I hope Rykon addresses very soon. I was not the best at Metal Eden. My movements were not smooth or free-flowing, and my hands don't work that fast, and therefore these settings weren't deal breakers. But for the sort of player who is talented at these games, I can see this being a massive turnoff, especially when many competing games offer this feature. I did also take the time to speak to some friends and read reviews of those with more mid-range PCs, and thankfully there were no overwhelming complaints about the general optimizations, although there were one or two comments about some frame rate features like VSync not being perfect at the current moment. In a game like Metal Eden, the smoothness of the gameplay is put on a pedestal and held to a much higher standard than in any other FPS genre. So far, I'd have to put Rykon's execution of this at around a 7 or an 8 out of 10 so far, which is actually really impressive for just a demo. I have no doubt that come the game's full release on May 6th, that the few criticisms I've mentioned above will be almost, if not entirely, ironed out. I would also say that although the arenas are fun, they do tend to lean a bit on predictability in terms of enemy spawns and waiting games. I felt like once I had some robots dead, I was just sitting and waiting. Also, I think power-ups are a little bit too forgiving. Maybe I'll regret saying that on the full release, but the respawn rates on armor pickups and ammo left me never feeling in danger of dying in the early game. But aside from that, the vision Metal Eden is going for is great, and I have so much respect for it. However, for this game to reach its full potential, Rykon needs sufficient feedback, so please make sure to leave some in the comments of this video or on the Steam review page if and when you get around to trying it. The demo is a relatively small and 100% free download that features 2 missions for you to try out. There's 3 difficulty levels to test depending on your ability, and the playthrough only takes around 40 to 90 minutes depending on your skill and speed. Metal Eden's demo is not just one big tutorial and really feels like a bite-sized piece of a full game. So don't worry, you don't need to waste your time on getting to the real game. Finally, for those who want an extra challenge in this demo period, Rykon are hosting a speedrun competition with a $1,000 prize pool. Check out the pinned comment or description below if you want more info on that, and or check out the other link in the description too if you just want to learn more about Metal Eden or download the demo for yourself, which is something I'd recommend everyone do, as it is free after all. Thank you Rycon and Metal Eden for sponsoring this video, and I'll likely see you again in May when the game fully releases.